Hello and welcome to the Malala magnetic foldover tutorial. This is a really simple make and makes a really lovely bag that can be used for travel, or you could even maybe make it from a faux leather or something and make it into a large clutch bag. So start by cutting out your fabric, and then you'll want to fuse your interfacing onto the wrong sides of your exterior fabric. I've also decided to fold and iron where the fold line is. This is really helpful because it means that structure is there right from the beginning. So use the pattern to guide you where the fold line should be and iron those. Remember that you'll want to iron one piece one way and the other piece the other way, because the two pieces go together and then fold over into the same direction. Then you'll want to take your magnets and affix them to a piece of interfacing each. Make sure that you have two pairs so that when you attach them to the bag works properly. You just want to stitch those to the interfacing, and then you can use the pattern to show you where to put them onto the exterior piece. You're going to iron them on to the interfacing that has already been attached to your fabric. Remember that all 4 magnets need to go on the same piece of fabric because the bag folds down onto itself, and therefore you need to turn the bag over and, just like that, mark where you need to put them on the other side. You'll notice that I've used a few different pieces of interfacing. I was trying to use up some scraps, so mine looks a little bit shambolic on the back. Make sure to check when you've marked where your magnets should go that they do line up, because depending on how you've ironed your fabric, you may have slightly changed where the magnet placement needs to be, so just make sure that they line up. Then iron those onto your fabric and you can just test that they work. Then it's time to move on to the zip. We need the zip to be 30 centimeters long from end to end, including the zip tabs. The zip tabs are created by folding them in half and then folding the short ends again in to meet the center half. They then are sandwiched onto the ends of the zips, so I recommend starting with the bottom end of the zip, chopping off any extra tape that's not needed, and then measuring 30 centimeters to find out where your next one's going to be. If you open the zip up, put the two sides of the zip tape together and pin, you can then stitch along here to make sure that it stays secured and in shape when you're trimming it down. You can stitch that together, then trim down any extra zip tape that you don't need and put that second zip tab on the end. Once you've got those all pinned in place, you just need to stitch over carefully to make sure that the zip and the zip tab are secured together. Then it's time to add the zip to the bag. So with the right side of the fabric facing you of the outside of the bag, put the zip face down and match up the raw edges. You'll then want to put the lining right side face down on top of this and again match up those raw edges. When you stitch this together, remember to stitch just from the zip tab to the other zip tab. You don't want to stitch the final centimetre of the bag because that's going to be your seam allowance for when you stitch the bag together. Then it's time to do the same on the other side, so completely repeat the process for the second half of the zip. Once the zip's in place, you want to open up your bag so that you have the 2 lining pieces stacked on one side and the 2 exterior pieces stacked on the other. Make sure to open your zip to at least halfway so that once this is all done, we can turn the bag through. You're going to pin your fabric all the way around the bag, all the way around the lining pieces and the exterior pieces. You can stitch all this together with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Make sure that you leave about 5 centimetres in the base of the lining fabric. So when it gets to the bottom of the lining, just leave 5 centimetres and don't stitch, so that then you can turn the bag through. Then push your bag through the lining hole that you did and also through the zippies and push up all of the corners to make sure that you're creating the shape of the bag. Test that your magnets still work and that your fold is still really clear, and you can iron this again just to make sure. Once you've done that, the final step is to just fix that hole in the lining. So the 4 to 5 centimetres that you didn't stitch, you just want to fold that under by 1 centimetre and then stitch that down. And you're finished. Thank you so much for making this notch pattern. Really hope you've enjoyed making it. Don't forget to look at the instruction manuals for a really detailed look at each step, and we hope to have you making another pattern again soon.